Hello and welcome to another update video about Harmony One. Well, Harmony One is moving down quite significantly, 10% to the downside. Here you can see it on Trading View. And this is pretty much what we planned basically on this channel. We talked about it. We even talked about these lower levels when we were up here just at our wave B top. Because this was for me very, with a very high likelihood throughout this whole move up, only a wave B. Had a lot of criticism to talk about these lower prices back then. Basically laughed at in many of the comments that a 15 cent, or here what I put on the chart, a 14 cent or 13.5 cent Harmony One would never be possible again because it is so strong. And yeah, it is a great cryptocurrency, but in the end they all come down. They all come down to those Fibonacci levels, and Harmony One was just later in the pump. Yeah, it did its wave B later than other cryptos. I think Bitcoin was back in November and Harmony One was in January. So obviously here I warned you that a correction would be coming. My sales orders were triggered in this target range. We talked about that on this channel. It did overshoot that target range a little bit. Yeah, it did a little bit. Basically went all the way up to the previous all-time high. And had we gone significantly above this previous high, the whole wave count would have looked differently. But in the end, it was overall just a lower low, slightly lower low, or even a double top. You can count it, you can call it. And then we moved down significantly as we broke this channel and broke here that 0.214 Fibonacci level at 30 cents. That moved down in one go, basically all the way down to the 61.8% Fibonacci level. We talked about in the last video that this is the most important Fibonacci level at 16.5 cents. But this move down led Harmony One below the 200-day moving average here in yellow, and it already broke below the 50-day moving average anyway. So in the last video we talked about that the structure that Harmony One was doing wasn't looking bullish at all. Absolutely not. These strong retracements are typically not a good foundation for a bull run. Even here you had a very similar pattern, and while the price moved up here, it was not a sustainable move to new all-time highs. So also this structure was only corrective. Basically you can look at it like that the correction started already in October 21 when we started here with this first wave down in a wave A. The move up, wave B, was part of the correction as well, and now we're moving down in a wave C, and with a high likelihood we're going to see a lower low. That is what I've been expecting since we were up here, or even when we already were coming up here. Yeah, we talked about that lower levels were coming. Obviously very hard to stay bearish when you make a crazy move up like that, of basically a 2x. But it worked out in the end. And now in the last video we talked about this head and shoulders pattern that was forming, and if you lose this Fibonacci level of 16.5 cents, which is also the most important Fibonacci level, that you can then expect a fast price drop. And this is the head and shoulders, had the neckline here at 16.5 cents, that broke, and now we're on our way into the target area that had not been reached yet. But looking at what the chart is doing now, I think we are going to get there. I think we are now going to see this previous support. That makes sense. It is the next logical support, the wave A low here. That is where my target area starts. To be fair, I only had this target area up here because this is where the wave A is starting. So here theoretically you could call the correction complete, because this would be a truncation, a so-called truncation, where the wave C ends where the wave A ended. But I think we're going to see lower levels, especially given that how the price is now coming down here, and also looking at the pure price target of that head and shoulders, it gives you a lower price area. So if we just draw crudely here the height of that head added to the breakout point, it would take us exactly to the 10.8 cent level, the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. Yeah, the only reason why I had this target area a little bit higher and not actually starting in these two Fib levels is because Harmony One looked so strong all the way. But yeah, I think that is where we're going to get to. I still move it up here because that's where I had it basically. So nevertheless, I would primarily expect the price to drop to 10.8 cents. That is the 78.6% Fib level, and maybe, and I've didn't expect that in the first place, but maybe we even see the 88.7 Fibonacci retracement level at 7.3 cents. You can see how fast these things can go. That move was really strong. Because that move was so strong here, it took a while for Harmony 1 to recover, to bring the indicators up a little bit, and it did that. It was then overbought, and as expected, it then started its downtrend. Did not move back here on the 4-hour chart back into the bullish range in the RSI. No, it stayed bearish, and that also led then to a further price drop. Overall, now you can also see it on the daily chart that the price is nearly oversold. So there is now limited downside potential on the daily chart, which means we could drop a little bit further and then probably need to see a little bit of a move up. What could happen is that the price is going to retest the 16.5 cent 0.618 fib level from below before it then drops further down. You can also see now on the MACD that you have here a bearish crossover. So also this is pushing further to the downside. A 2-day chart as well, accelerating selling pressure. All of that is pointing for further moves to the downside. And the higher you go in the time frame, the more space there still is on the indicators for further downside potential. But all of them have now crossed bearish. What you can really see here on the weekly chart, there is much more room for further downside potential. Hasn't even crossed the 0 line on the weekly MACD, and on the RSI we're also dropping lower so far. But so far it's going as expected. I think, as I said, for many other cryptos as well, you need to see those lower levels. And as we actually speak here, the price is dropping further. So in the end, there is no point in, and I just mean that as a learning, and I had to learn it as well. There is not one particularly strong crypto. Just because a cryptocurrency is moving very strongly, for example, here in this wave B, as so many others did as well. Cosmos did that, Terra Luna did it, Avalanche did it, and they all just move in different wave cycles, but in the end, they all pretty much do the same thing. So there, you can't say that, from my experience, you can't say, for example, that Harmony 1 is stronger than Ethereum. They would be just in a different wave count, and if Harmony 1 is correcting later, it will just take longer until they all reach basically the same or very similar Fibonacci levels. Doesn't mean they all come down to the same ones, but they all have to do their corrections. It's just mathematics. They have to. They all are drawn to the same fib levels, and I had to learn that as well. And it's sometimes hard when you, for example, move up here in, for example, what Harmony 1 did here. But on this channel, you will know that I remained skeptical and bearish all the time. And to be honest, it is really hard when you're up here, and it's really at this key tipping point. But it moved down. The structure just did not support these higher highs and all-time highs. And then we dropped. And now we just see the consequence of that. It just took much longer. Congrats for everybody who followed me with my sales orders up here. Basically then is now able to reinvest this at a lower price. And if you want to see my buy and sell orders as well, check out the channel membership. With the silver and gold membership, you can join Discord, and there you can find them. In addition to all sorts of additional content, you can join the Telegram live stream, live chat, and also a weekly live stream. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.